What's going on with you, YouTube? It's your boy Top Deck TJ here, and I'm bringing you my Vegas regional deck profile. Unfortunately, I didn't do as good as I really wanted to. I really wanted to get my invite, especially from my hometown, but it just didn't work out that way, unfortunately. But we're gonna go ahead and jump right on in. As you can see, I am playing Gold Pride Punk, one of the decks that I think is better in this current meta. I definitely think it is an easy contender and can do just about most things that decks can't really compete with. It also builds a decent board that your opponents most of the time can't break. But let's just jump right on into it. For the Gold Pride side, I am playing 3 Leons. Leon is mandatory, especially at 3, because it's a free reborn. It's a synchro on your opponent's turn. It's just such a good resource. I chose to play 2 Captain Carry. I think 2 is fine. Not only are you able to search her out, but she's going to be summoned by Chariot Carry, so you don't always need to see her in your opening hand. As good as she is as a level 3, in order to make Chariot Carry, we play other level 3s that allow you to facilitate that anyways. And then for the last 2 Gold Pride monsters, I am playing 1 Nitro Head and 1 Rollerballer. 1 and 1 feels really good. I don't think you need more than that. You're either going to dump or search these 2, so there's no point in playing more. Also, you don't want to clog your hand with cards that you don't want to see. If I draw these, half the time I'm discarding them off of like a Foxy Tune. It's not always the best thing to see in your opening hand, but they're great to see. If that makes any sense. And then I played 2 Better Luck Next Time. The theory is the same as like Captain Carry and Gold Prides. You're gonna search them. You're gonna see this off of the Captain or the Chariot Carry. So like, you don't always need to open it, but when you open it, it's honestly really good, because then you're able to just search the quick play spell, which allows you to summon a Gold Pride at any point in time. Usually I save it for like my opponent's turn. That way I can summon back the Rollerballer and not give them an extra monster too soon. But otherwise, yeah, if you don't search this, you're definitely searching this. So, and then I play the one of the Start Your Engines. I wanted to play more, but I didn't want to play like a 44, 45, 46 card deck. So I opted to cut it to 1, and truth be told, seeing it at 1 was really good, because most of the time I was trying to OTK my opponent anyways after I activated this, because I didn't want to give them another turn. Allowing them to play the game was just not what I wanted them to be able to do. So I was either looking to OTK them or just build a board that was so good that they couldn't break it. And that was pretty much like my thought process throughout the entire event. Now for the Punk side, I chose to play 3 Foxy Tune. This is just another copy of E-Telly essentially, and we're finally in a version where you have a couple of cards you actually want to discard anyways. So I think playing 3 is the correct thing to do, because if you want to be able to play Punk, you want to be able to see this card, honestly. This also helps you with rank 8 plays, so playing 3 is really good. I also opted to play just the 1 Ogre Dance. 1 Ogre Dance allows you to be able to search whatever you want. The only downside is that Droll's in the format, which is why you only play 1 right now, because if you see this, you discard it, searches Yaman, you no longer get Yaman effect if they Droll you, so you kind of lose out. And then for other big punks, I'm playing 1 Deer Note. I don't think you need to play more than this. We used to play in Pier 2 of them, but just playing 1 now is like so good, because you also have Rollerballer, which is a 5, and you're able to recur Rollerballer more than enough times. Deer Note, you really only need like turn 1 or whenever you summon Rising Carp. So if your Rising Carp doesn't get ashed, you're going to get your Deer Note, which is perfectly fine. The only downside is if you go to Rising Carp, you're guaranteed to almost be in a Nibiru spot before you could even do anything about it. So that's the only unfortunate side. Then I chose to play 3 Xiamen, best starter in the deck. You summon Xiamen, you search a card. Most of the time I'm searching like Shirakuzai, because if I get Drolled, I don't want to add like Wagon or Madam Spider and then be sitting in a spot where like I can't make Chariot Carry, I can't search like the Field Spell or the Trap. It just puts you in such a bind that I don't want to add those cards to my hand directly unless I have the correct resources to be able to get them out of my hand and do whatever I need to do with them. Then I chose to play 1 Shirakuzai, 1 Wagon, and 1 Madam Spider. I don't think you need to play 2 Shirakuzai anymore if you're playing the Gold Pride version. In the Pure version, absolutely, Shirakuzai is like the second best baby, but here you only want to play 1, and a lot of times you're not even summoning it back off the Deer Note, so you really only use it to fusion summon currently. And then for the honorary punks, only because it is searchable off of Jam Dragon Drive, is going to be Psychic Tracker. Psychic Tracker really performed this event. It allowed me to make Chariot Carry so many times. It also allowed me to make Star Leon a couple of times, so it was really good. You could search it off of the Jam Dragon Drive if you already have like your Ghost Ogres, your Punks, anything that you may need, you just search off of Jam Dragon Drive. Then I played 3 emergency teleports. Again, it's just a freer version of Foxy Tune, but it's way better. There was even a game that I think I summoned a Ghost Ogre off of this to go synchro summon, and it forced my opponent to interrupt, which was pretty much what I wanted. So yeah, we're still gonna play this card regardless. Card's too free, too good, so I will never cut it. It's emergency teleport. And then for the last 2 punk cards, I played 1 Dangerous Gabu and 1 Extreme Sessions. I did not feel like Nashawari Surprise was super needed because most of the time I'm going to use Pinballer to be able to take their monsters. And for their spells and traps, I pretty much wasn't worried for the most part because I'd probably just bounce it with Amazing Dragon anyways. So I opted to just play the Dangerous Gabu, especially because when we get to the hand traps, you'll see that I'm not playing certain cards. So the Dangerous Gabu was really needed, and you also still need something to search off the Madam Spider. 3 Droll and Lockbirds. This card is really good. It stops people from being able to play. The theory is that, like, I agree with most people, you have to respect Gamma. I was disrespecting it all day. I would Droll and Lockbird as soon as I could, and then that way in hopes you couldn't do anything, especially against like Super Heavy Samurai or even like Cashier or something that just needs to add multiple cards. This is a really good card. The other MVP of the day would be Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. I was playing 3. This card is really good. I know recently we'd only play like 1, and it's just because it was searchable. This card became really good when Super Heavy Samurai became good and Pearly became good, because you can hit the My Friend or you can hit the Super Heavy Samurais like Pendulum monsters, so that way they don't get their effects, they lose their card. Generally you want to hit like the Wakashi, but sometimes you have to hit the Benji or the Benton or the whatever his name is, but card is really good. Then I played 3 Ash Blossom. If there was any card in this deck I could cut, it would be Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom did not perform as much as I wanted it to. It was really just there for Despia, honestly. There was a Cash player that I Ash Blossomed their Prosperity, which means that they couldn't use their Desires that was in their hand, which basically means that they bricked. I also ashed an emergency teleport in the mirror match, and my opponent looked at me, I looked at them, they looked at me, I looked at them, and then they set 2 cards and passed. So like Ash isn't terrible, it's just not great right now. And then for board breakers, I played 3 Triple Tactics talent. 3 talents was really good. I made a Cashier Arise Heart turn into a Zeus because I took my opponent's Arise Heart. I looked at people's hands all day. I drew cards. Like, this card was just a godsend. It honestly is really, really good, and you should be playing it. Then I played 2 Dark Ruler No Mores. The theory was that, like, I'm going to be playing against a lot of people that are playing Super Heavy Samurai or building boards that I just don't want to see. Pearly, or even, I can't even think, Despia, I guess. But like, you know, there was just so many like decks that I did not want you to be able to use your monsters. So I mained the Dark Ruler No Mores. Most of the time, I would honestly discard this card. I think there was a game that I had so many cards that I looked at my hand and I was like, I'd rather keep the talents. Because I go into my next turn and they hand trap me, I still get knowledge or I get a draw. I don't need this. There was also another game, I looked at this card and then I looked at my opponent and said I can OTK you without it. But overall, I'd rather be caught with it than without it. It's still a really good card. All right, moving on into the extra deck. I'm supposed to be playing 2 copies of Chariot Carry. I was borrowing one from Kali, so shout out to the Kali Effect. He's an amazing guy. He's the reason why I have my YouTube today. But I borrowed it from him, so that's why it's an empty sleeve. But I was playing 2. I also played 1 Rollerballer, 1 Star Leon. I don't think Nitro Blaster is a necessary card. I will go over why, but I was watching a deck profile, which I kind of took this idea from. Nitro Blaster requires 2 gold prides with different levels to be able to link into it. The downside is that you don't always have that. I will get to the next choice in a second, but going over the punks, I played 1 Jam Dragon Drive, 1 Amazing Dragon, and 1 Rising card. You don't really need more than this. I barely even summon this card all regional. I summon this and this most of the time, but I'd rather have this as well so that way I don't get caught, because, you know, you might want to compulse an entire board worth of stuff, so it just all depends. Going into my more generic stuff, I played 1 Cerberus, which is why I didn't play the Nitro Blaster. Cerberus can just have 2 monsters with different names, so like basically anything. And then you can also discard like the Rollerballer or the Nitro Head if you have it, but it allows you to get rid of the problematic cards that Nitro Head would get rid of without requiring something that you might not be able to always have on field. That's why I chose the Cerberus. Then I played 1 Dragite and 1 Psychic and Punisher. Chariot Carry and Rising Card for all the water. This card is a godsend. I made it against somebody and I was able to negate something and just force like their options. Psychic and Punisher, I wanted to summon so many times, and even a Cashier player ripped it out of my extra deck, I think like twice, but it never mattered, and I'll get to why. The other more generic cards before I get into like a package is going to be a Photon Lord and a Zeus. Again, I was borrowing a card from the Kali effect, and it was Photon Lord. Photon Lord was really good. I made it all day long. It pretty much did its job. It threatened cards, it threatened Droll, it threatened Ghost Ogres, it threatened just on summon effects. It threatened so much. I even made a Zeus, like I told you guys, with a Arise Heart. So like this card was really good. I even made it with one of my own Exceeds. I think I attacked with something and then I just made a Zeus, which forced my opponent to get rid of it. Then I played the number 97 package. Hope Harbinger is a real card. I will summon this half the time, but most of the time I don't want to use Photon Lord. I'd rather use this. So you summon number 97, you detach, and then you summon Numeron Dragon, and you detach the Hope Harbinger to make it 9,000 because you have a rank 8 and a rank 1, and it gains 1,000 per rank on the field. So even if you have like a Chariot carry on field as well, it gains another 3,000, which means that it is a 12,000 attack monster, which could come up if your opponent has a monster on board. I made this and my opponent even got rid of it. They ghost ogred it and I was like, oh, thank you. I could just play the game because you have no cards and you're about to top deck. So like, thank you. But overall, it was really good. I did summon it multiple times throughout the regional, so I honestly probably wouldn't cut it because of how good it can be. Moving on to the side deck, I am playing 3 DD Crow. The reason behind DD Crow is that Bystials don't do everything you want them to in this deck particularly. DD Crow also hits Pearly and Super Heavy Samurai, and much other decks like Despia or Dragon Link or Heroes or just about anything we saw at the regional. It pretty much hit most of them. I'm also playing 2 Nibirs. Nibir was really good. I did side it a couple of times. I summoned it once, I think, and that was about it. Outside of that, the card is really good. I don't think that you shouldn't side it. I think you definitely should, just because of how good it is. Then I was playing 3 Cosmic Cyclone. The theory behind Cosmic Cyclone is it puts you at a life deficit because you pay 1,000 life points, but it also gets rid of cards like My Friend, Pearly. It gets rid of the Super Heavy Samurai Pendulum Zones. It gets rid of problematic field spells like Pivotal Planets, just about anything you can hit with this. Then I'm siding 1 Harpy's Feather Duster and 1 Triple Tactics Talent. The theory behind this is like Labyrinth or anything super like back row heavy. And if I know you're playing hand traps, I'm just gonna side this and a couple of other cards. Then I could get my Triple Tactics. I can get my Dark Ruler No Mores. If I side this, I can get the Harpy Feather Duster. So like, theory is just like it's a hand trap heavy format. So if you're gonna activate a monster effect, I'm gonna punish you for it. Then I also sided 3 Anti-Spell Fragrances. Anti-Spell Fragrance in theory is really good. It's good against Pearly and it's good against Super Heavy Samurai because then they can't activate their Pendulum Zones. I did not side it all day. Honestly, I don't even really want it to be anything else either. It was just, I like the option of it. So overall, in theory, it's good. I just didn't get to use it. And then lastly, for the last card, I sided 2 evenly matches. The theory is I'm also playing Dark Ruler No More, so if they have a giant board that I know this normally would get negated by, I just activate the Demore, and then I activate evenly matched, and then they lose their entire board. I was never going to be able to do damage anyways, so the Dark Ruler No More doesn't really matter. I just crack the board for free, and it leaves me with about 4 or 3 cards left as well, depending on, you know, what had happened previously. Other than that, guys, I just want to thank you for watching my deck profile. Again, this was my Vegas regional deck profile, and if you want to see more deck profiles like this, please make sure to hit the like, comment, and subscribe buttons, and I will catch you on the next one.